Hey everyone, how are we? It is that time of month again. We are looking at the full moon. So we are doing our shadow work, all right? The full moon's always a really good time to be doing shadow work, looking within, facing the darker sides of ourselves so that we can assimilate those, balance those out with the lighter sides of ourselves as well. Okay, so this is the full moon in Aries, October 7th here in Australia. This year has been a bit weird with the dates. So I know that elsewhere in the world, you may be looking at a different, it may be a different day for you when you're watching this video or whatever. But here in Australia, we do have it listed as October the 7th. But it's not necessarily a gentle full moon. But it is actually, I was looking at the astrology of it, and it is a little bit gentler than some of the previous full moon in Aries have been in the past. But because Aries is a force of passion, can be quite reckless, but it comes in with a sort of a loud wake up call every time we have those Aries full moons. It spurs you into action. There's a lot of inner warrior kind of energy this full moon, surges of courage and determination to really push for forward movement in your life. So acting boldly and no longer holding back anywhere, and it really stirring up the momentum. So it really instigates and initiates action, this particular full moon. So things starting off, it all starts too with a lot of clarity. Does seem to come through. Every full moon does tend to illuminate quite a lot in our lives and sort of push that clarity in. So energy surges as well. And it's all about sort of, creating the reality that your soul came here to experience. So, as a lot of people would understand that, we kind of signed up for this before we even got here. And so it's sort of allowing you to fall back in line with that, rather than, getting stuck in the this reality of life. So you're actually sort of pushing forward to create your own reality a little bit more through this full moon. Strong motivation to prioritize balance and breaking free from anything that's holding back your energy. All right, so you're going to probably notice things that are taking a little bit too much energy from you, and you are sort of going to push back against those things. You may be creating boundaries against those things that are just taking energy from you, or where you're not putting or where you're putting energy into things that's, not really in line with your truth. So there's also a little bit of, reckless taking risks kind of energy, but, still being very mindful of that path of destruction that you're creating for yourself, because, change can look like destruction sometimes, in order to move forward and have that movement. But there is a lot of clarity regarding the areas of your life where you're ready to assert yourself. So if you've been holding back, you're ready to make movements in those areas, and clarity of the fears that have been holding you back. So and then finding the courage to face those fears, even if it's uncomfortable or out of your control. This full moon, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of forward movement, there's a lot of courage that comes through, a lot of bravery. It's a very sort of brave energy, this full moon, but it's all about getting things moving and initiating changes that need to happen for you in your life. The signs that are going to be most affected, obviously we have Aries, as well as its opposite sign Libra, but we do also see Cancer and Capricorn very heavily affected by this particular full moon. I myself am a Capricorn, and I actually find the Aries full moons quite sort of invigorating, which is, I'm a little bit odd. I'm a little bit Crazyfaerie, right? So I also have an Aries like an Aries moon. So Aries moon is really strong for me as well in that sense. So, but it's hard to tell sometimes if it's my moon or my sun that is, firing off on that Aries energy. But as I'm sure you're presuming there, we are going to start with Aries today and roll on through, which kind of looks like our normal kind of styles. But for the shadow work reading there, starting with Aries, making sure you are subscribing to the channel as well, so you can stay up to date with these full moon readings every month. There I do those, and I have quite a lot of other regular kind of readings as well. This particular week, I'm a little bit slack this week, I'm not going to lie, because I am traveling with my son this week. So I do have videos that will be available. You know, it's just going to sort of depend on my personal availabilities while I'm traveling and whatnot as well, as to whether, you know, how soon I'm able to upload those and whatever. All right. But today I am using, I've got a different kind of deck here today for the shadow work. This is a new Oracle deck that I have gotten recently. And it is kind of one of those decks that is a little bit more aimed towards personal work, personal use work. But it's a very sort of detailed deck. This is the She Is Oracle. Okay, and each card does actually have quite a lot, as you can sort of see just from the amount of writing there. It does have quite a lot of information on each card, but also includes questions. So ways that we can be questioning ourselves in order to, you know, look a little bit deeper within ourselves and integrate those things into our life. So I thought this was actually a really good deck to be using for shadow work. So I wanted to use that one today, as well as, you know, the normal lenormand that I use for shadow work. We have the red hand lenormand, all right, which does have quite a few extra cards in that deck as well. So, and you know, with the darker theme, I do really love this deck for our shadow work. I do have a couple of extra darker decks nowadays, but I'm kind of got it. It's very attuned to the shadow work now, that red hand deck, because I do use it very frequently for the shadow work. So it is very, very in tune with shadow work messages. So I feel like I probably will continue to use that as my main shadow work deck. Okay, I do apologize for any coughing or sniffling or scratching my nose, because my allergies have been crazy today. Here in Australia, we are in spring, but today was actually like a really hot day, but also very windy. So my allergies are like through the roof today. So I do apologize for any coughing and all that. I have also been sneezing a lot today as well, but I just keep my nose is like itching me insane. So I do apologize. Timestamps will be in the description box. And like I said, we will start with Aries, okay? If my pen will work for those timestamps. Oh, look, you can see it's driving me insane, guys. It's so itchy today. All right, so Aries full moon for you. Okay, Aries, what does Aries need to know in regards to shadow work this month? Shadow work messages for our Aries. Shadow work messages for Aries, please. Okay. Ooh. Straight into some rough energy there, Aries. You don't mess around, that's for sure. Especially you know, through the shadow work reading to start with, but also the Aries full moon. Firstly, we do have the What Brings Me Joy card coming through. Okay, so it does say breathing is a bridge to the present. When I'm in it, I'm in my body. This card is about slowing down and connecting with yourself through breath. So the focus questions this card asks is, how does my state change when I focus on breathing? What kind of breath brings me back to my body? All right, so what brings you joy? And it talks about, you know, being present in your own body and paying attention and awareness to what's going on in your body, and you know, taking those calm moments out. You know, as we sort of spoke about in the intro there, Aries, you guys are, you know, a little bit sometimes reckless and very passionate and very action orientated. So sometimes you do need to slow down and connect to yourself, which that card is asking for here. But now this is the card that does get a little bit darker for you here, Aries, because we do have the void coming through. This is the space where nothing happens. Silence, uncertainty, pause. It may feel like you're stuck, but maybe you're just in the place where something new is being born. A card without form, without answer, without question. So it's asking you to kind of trust a little bit here the nothingness, the void, the energy that you've been in, you know, that you have been feeling maybe a little bit stuck, but understanding that you're not actually, stuck in this void, that every time we're in the abyss or the void, there is always a way to claw ourselves back out. Where there's a will, there's a way. So it's asking you to sort of stop, slow down, just breathe, and work out, how do I get out of here? What do I do in order to get out of here? This full moon will probably bring through a lot of clarity for you about, the areas where you are feeling very drawn into your own darkness. So, if you have been feeling very stuck, very uncertain, very, that darkness rising kind of energy, stuck on those negative emotions, feeling as though you're stuck in a lot of, because it does sort of bring to mind things like depression and things like that as well. Feeling as though, because I'm getting the phrase, I've been getting a lot of Slipknot songs coming through lately. I'm getting the "all hope is gone" phrase coming through, and that's kind of how you've been feeling. Like, what is even the point? What's the point of even hoping for something better? Because I just keep getting shit after shit after shit. I'm just getting drawn down more and more and more into this void. So it's time to just slow down, stop, and say, well, do you know what? It's up to me to start taking, action to claw my way out of this abyss and work out, it doesn't matter what I'm really doing here as long as I'm trying. And what steps can I start taking in order to start trying to pull myself up here. Okay, but we will check in here with the lenormand as well. Shadow work messages for Aries. Shadow work messages for Aries, please. This has been a rough year. I am picking up here, Aries, that this full moon is actually, once again, an instigator for you. Okay, it's a bit of an instigator for everybody. But for you, it really will really push you in a lot of ways, I feel. And things will start looking up in the next cycles for you here, Aries. The first card we're seeing for you here is the tree. So this is kind of just, it's healing, it's growth, maturity that's coming through for you at this time. There is the need for you to really ask yourself, what areas of my life do I need to heal and grow and mature in? For a lot of you, this has got to do specifically with these two cards here. We have the child and the clouds, which is kind of your immature thoughts, your immature perceptions of things. So the things that aren't fully yet mature within yourself, that you're maybe making those childish responses to things. Your emotional responses are, a little bit unregulated because, children have very unregulated emotions and they act on those emotions, very impulsively. So it's asking you to really, really look at the areas in your life where you can mature and heal and grow in a more mature, wise way. That it's kind of asking yourself, when you slow down and breathe, because I'm hearing that phrase as well, that what would Jesus do? But it's kind of coming through as like, what would an adult do? That kind of thing. Like, I'm not going to lie, Aries, I even stop sometimes and go, hang on, I'm looking for an adult, but then I realize, hang on, I'm an adult. I am an adult. What's going on with that? That doesn't make sense. And I feel like that's kind of like you guys here at the minute, that you're kind of looking around for another adult to guide the way. And so for a lot of you, you're kind of like, well, what would an adult do in this situation? I'm fully grown and I'm an adult myself, but what would an adult do in this situation? What would a responsible adult do in this situation? And maybe I need to, start changing my thoughts to match those things a little bit more. How would a responsible adult think about this? How would a responsible adult solve this problem? What would they do? And sort of then realizing along the way that you have the opportunity here to grow into that responsible adult, that you may not feel like you completely are here. So there's a lot of maturity coming through for you in this full moon period, Aries, and it's all about clawing your way up, healing the past as well, healing from childhood trauma, if that's you there as well, because with the tree and the child directly there, it may not be necessarily healing from those traumas, but the way that you are thinking about those and allowing those to take over your thoughts, there's definitely a lot of healing there as well. So you're not allowing those to be your every thought, and be your instant reaction coming from those traumas, where we're healing those things and we're moving forward and looking after ourselves in a different kind of way. It's very much like parenting ourselves. You know, if you pardon, if you you know, didn't have the parents that you particularly wanted here, Aries, that you now have the opportunity to be that parent to yourself. All right. So you now have the opportunity to help yourself learn and grow and mature and move through those things. Okay. So that's sort of what's coming through for you here, Aries. And that was just a message for like one or two of you. I'm not, you know, a lot of you, I am picking up a lot of the Aries here have actually had no issues with childhood, but I'm also picking up some that have had a lot of issues with childhood. And I'm an Aries moon as well, and I've had a lot of childhood trauma, I'm not going to lie. So I kind of, you know, I feel that. I know that is something that a lot of the Aries energy does deal with, as well as those of you, you know, because I'm just strongly picking up on a couple of you that are sort of saying, I actually had a really good childhood, like, but you know, it's interesting. Everyone has their own experiences, and it's you know, but there's still just something there about you being a child, and when it comes to certain situations, you're still like a babe in the woods, regardless of how your childhood was. Your inner child is still you know, holding you back in a few little areas there. So it's time to sort of, you know, parent that little child and move forward in a more positive way for yourself here, Aries. Okay, so that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Taurus. Okay, Taurus, shadow work messages for Taurus. What does Taurus need to know this month for their shadow work messages? Shadow work messages for Taurus. We have intuition coming through first for you, Taurus. Intuition is not logic or proof. It's a whisper within, leading to truth, even when unheard, a knowing that already lives inside you. So the questions that this card asks is, do I trust my subconscious? What intuitive knowing do I feel, even if I can't explain it? Okay, so trusting your intuition a little bit more at the minute. Okay, and this card is very linked with that as well. We have the rival. Okay, so this talks about, you know, you've got your intuition versus that nasty little voice in the back of your head. Whose voice is this? This card is about the inner voice that speaks inside us. Sometimes it's not our own. We echo parents, teachers, society, our fears. So whose words do I repeat in my mind? Is this truly my voice? Okay, so it's really asking you to listen to the voices within yourself here. You know, and I'm not necessarily talking about the voices in your head, you know, but, you know, we all have that little voice in the back of our head that does say, you're not good enough, you did that wrong, you're failing at this, you know, all those sorts of things. So it's asking you to really question where that voice is coming from. Who is that in somebody else's voice? Is that somebody that has, you know, put you down in the past, or you know, maybe even currently? I did pick up on that for a couple of you recently, that some of you may have someone in your life that is sort of treating you lower than. So really taking that into account there as well. So really kind of going, is this my intuition trying to warn me from something, or is it that nasty little voice that's trying to stop me from doing things in my life here? So really questioning that inner voice at the minute, and trusting your intuition, but not listening to the little voices that are trying to steer you and tell you that you're not good enough. Okay, Taurus, shadow work messages for Taurus. Shadow work messages for Taurus, please. Once again, everything in your head this month. Everything in your head this month. We have the clouds coming through first for you, Taurus. So it's really the way that you're thinking about things, and the way that you're, you know, trusting that little inner voice. definitely the strongest message here for you. And you know, that inner voice is leading you to anxiety. It's leading you to question yourself and you know, not have the courage to do things that you actually, you know, really want to do, or that are part of your journey here, because you're, you know, doubting and fearful of failing, I suppose. We do also have the Tower coming through here. So there may be some of you that may need to just sort of take some time to yourself to really, you know, work out this energy within yourself of, you know, my little inner voice versus my intuition, inner voice versus intuition. What's going on here? You know, whose voice is this that I'm listening to? Am I trusting that inner voice that's telling me the negative stuff, or am I trusting that inner voice that is, you know, trying to guide me towards things in my life? Because you can see that's kind of like a lighthouse. So it's like, who are you going to let guide you? So some of you may need to just sort of isolate yourselves, you know, within your own head a little bit this full moon, just to sort of really just think, you know, just think. Journaling may be really useful to you as well, this full moon as well. But it's time to, you know, we have the ruins here as well. Okay, so it's time to, you know, put that little voice that's not doing you any good, put that into that ruined city. All right, so it's time to let that crumble to dust. It's not serving you anymore. It's time for that to, you know, like ruins that we see in the world, that, you know, over time they just become ruins. And if we leave them and don't you know, go to them all the time, there's no one looking after them and feeding those ruins, they fall into disrepair. So allow that inner voice to fall into disrepair. All right, and it's the more that you're giving to it, the more that it's going to, you know, stay fresh and in your mind and in your space. And so it's time to really, you know, stand strong and tall against that thing that's trying to ruin you and sort of make you crash out here, Taurus. It's you know, asking yourself what's guiding you here, and really focusing on the way that you think to yourself, the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you think about things, that, oh, I could never try that, I'm not good enough to do that. You know, those sorts of thoughts need to really be brought under control through this full moon for you here, Taurus. So that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Geminis. Okay, Gemini. Shadow work messages for Gemini. Shadow work messages for our Geminis. Firstly, we have, I have the right to want. Okay. This card is about permission to want. Not just material or bodily things, but emotional, soulful, real things. It touches the moments when I quietly say to myself, I don't deserve this. And all about reclaiming the right to dream. Okay, so this card asks us, what desires do I dim down and why? What do I allow myself to want without justifying it? Am I over controlling my desires? Okay, so it's asking you to kind of, you know, think about the last few things that you've done for yourself just because. And, you know, did you feel the need to justify that for yourself? If, you know, if I go and buy a pair of shoes, do you feel the need to, you know, make a justification in your mind as like an excuse that you need those shoes? Or can you just enjoy buying yourself something because, you know, I wanted those shoes because they're cute? Not gonna lie, I do both. We have reflection coming through for you as well. I kind of really like this particular card for you, because look, there's the Gemini, the Gemini reflection energy there. Between worlds, this is about transition. I'm no longer there, but not quite here yet. It's not wrong, it's simply a process. Uncomfortable but honest. A card about trusting the in-between moments. So, you know, I can see where I want to be. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm not really here anymore. I'm you know, I'm sort of stuck in this in between of where I want to be and where I am. So it's, where am I now? Between no longer and no yet. can I stay with it without rushing or forcing? So it's all about, not feeling the need to pressure yourself and just sort of, step back and allow things to, just be, not that it's comfortable sometimes to just stay where we are, but understanding that you're no longer where you were. You're no longer, you're no longer where you were, but you're also not quite where you want to be. So is it okay for you to just enjoy that ride and enjoy that process of getting there and recognizing that you are, somewhere in the middle of those two things? For a lot of you, this feels like one specific area of your life. So there may be the need to sort of question yourself about what area of your life this particular energy is being created here. And, and also, going back to, I have the right to want, so that you have the right to want to be in that future version of yourself. So is that why you're holding back from that version of yourself? Is that the reason that you're in this in between? And if that's the case, then maybe it is time to take action towards moving towards that. Shadow work messages for Gemini. Shadow work messages for our Geminis. Okay, so we have the ring coming through first. So for a lot of you, this has got to do with relationships. It may also be a little bit here about the patterns, the cycles that we find ourselves sort of stuck in. So it's like, you're going around this loop of like, I'm not quite at the top of the loop, but I'm not at the bottom either. I'm kind of still working my way back around this cycle. But it's kind of like, am I rushing into this, or do I need to hold back a little bit longer? Or do I have the right, I have the right to want to completely break this cycle if I want to as well. It's really asking you, what do you want? What cycles in your life are you done with, and you wanting to take action to break those cycles? And what cycles in your life are you wanting to, have things just sort of come back around for you and pick it up where you kind of left off, and all those sorts of things. We do see yourself here with the key opening up to, the next opportunities that are coming in for yourself here, and opening yourself up to brand new opportunities as well. New relationships for some of you here as well, opening up to a new relationship, knowing that there is success for you regardless what you choose, because I have the right to want this, and therefore I will be successful with this. Okay. We do also see these two actually came out together. So we have the Tower and the Clouds. So that bites those two cards coming out together is kind of a very specific message of, needing to isolate your thoughts and really pinpoint exactly, what's going on up there in that little brain of yours, and what it is that you truly want and desire. For some of you, the need to, physically isolate yourself and think things through over this full moon period, that you just need to allow yourself time to think. So you may need to sort of take yourself away from everything else that's going on, and really sit in that in between, and really work out, where do I want to go next? What do I want the next cycle to look like in my life? What do I want the next relationship to look like in my life? Okay, so some food for thought there, Gemini. All right, but that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, especially your moon sign being the full moon. But we will move on over to our Cancers. Okay, Cancer. Shadow work messages for Cancer. Cancer. Shadow work messages for our Cancers. Choice. I have a plan. Okay. This is a card about inner structure, clarity, and readiness to plan. It's not about action for action's sake, but about wisely directed energy. So this card questions and asks, what gives me a sense of structure and order? What structure helps me move forward? And what is or will be my next considered step. You know, being very willful and choosing what steps am I going to take. All right. The Seeker, belief in myself. So this is a card about inner resilience, about choosing yourself. Choice. Choose yourself, Cancer. Even when the wind blows in your face. Belief in self is a compass that leads you through doubt. So this questions, what do I believe in even when I doubt? What does my confidence look like? What helps me to not give up? I'm just getting a reword on that as well for some of you. Why haven't I given up? What has stopped me from giving up? You know, so there's some stuff coming through there for you, Cancer. You know, about, you know, looking at belief in yourself to start with, but, you know, working out what steps to take, and planning that out. There does seem to be a lot of structure. So for some of you, I am getting like a structure in building your own confidence coming through as well. That may be necessary for some of you. Shadow work messages for Cancer. Did just have one throw itself at us. So we do see the scythe coming through first. That's a harvest, okay? That's harvest. What do you need to cut out of your life in order to stick to the plans that you have? And what do you need to cut out of your life? What do you need to cut out of the ways that you're thinking about things, and break free from when it comes to your belief in yourself? Okay, there's certain things that you need to break yourself free from, certain patterns and behaviors that you've kind of, that's your thing. You know, that's what I tell myself. I tell myself I'm not good enough, or whatever that is. You know, time to break free from that energy, that low self-confidence energy. Time to break free from that and assert your dominance over yourself a little bit here, independence over oneself a little bit here. You know, the scythe really does cut things out, and it cuts through the illusions. We have the snake there. Okay, so it's cutting through the illusions in your life at this time, cutting through the things that it's kind of because the next card we have is the bouquet, all right, which is all about giving and receiving. So you're cutting through the things that betray you by not giving back, that you're giving to all these things in your life, but they kind of betray you by not giving, you know, you're not receiving anything back from them. So it's time to sort of cut some of those things out of your life, whether it be, you know, people or things that you're giving your energy, your time and your energy to here. Because it's shattering the illusions. There's some things you've allowed yourself to believe, especially around yourself and your own confidence here, and it's time to shatter those beliefs and you know, really focus on, you know, what you are giving and what you actually are receiving. Because the more that you're giving to those little thoughts that tell you that I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, the more that's what you're telling the universe you deserve. And that's what you start receiving. You don't deserve that, so therefore you won't get that. You know, so you're really thinking about the ways that you're giving of yourself to yourself, and allowing yourself to receive the good and stuff like that as well. So making a bit of a plan, a bit of a structure in how to change this belief in yourself and you know, shatter those illusions that you've got around yourself here. Some of you, these are very, you know, quickly happening changes where these belief systems around yourself are shattering very, very quickly. Even just the word shattering, you know, that's something that as soon as you take that sledgehammer, it like bursts into pieces, you know. So it can be very, very quick, but it's kind of like it's taking you a long time to get to this, but then once you actually you know, plan to change that, it can actually happen very, very quickly for you here, Cancer, and you can sort of find a little bit of faith in yourself and move yourself back into, you know, positive energy where you don't have as much self-doubt. Okay, so great energy for you this full moon, Cancer. I must say that is actually it's uncomfortable when we have to face changes like this, but it is definitely going to really spur you into a whole new era of self, and that's going to be fantastic for yourself, and you deserve it. Okay, you deserve it. So that's what we have for you today, Cancer. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Leos. Okay, moving on to Leo. Leo, shadow work messages for our Leos. Leo, shadow work messages for Leo, please. Okay. I hear myself when. So this is all about the hidden me. We all have parts we haven't revealed yet. Talents, desires, shadows waiting for their time. This card is about accepting myself as not yet complete, about the spaces that open gradually within. Okay, so this questions you and asks, what part of me do I keep away from the world? What in me is waiting to be seen? So the things about yourself, thinking about the things about yourself that maybe nobody has seen yet, the parts of you that you keep hidden and you don't share with everybody, good and bad, okay? Shadow work is about looking at all of it, not just the good, all right? And allowing yourself to be truthfully rather than be a perfect little version of yourself that you're trying to display. You be yourself, okay? We also see intuition for you here, Leo. Intuition is not logic or proof. It's a whisper within, leading to truth, even when unheard. A knowing that lives inside. Do you trust your subconscious? What intuitive knowing do I feel, even when I can't explain it? Okay, so the parts of you that are trying to come out here are very connected to your intuition and just this inner knowing of I know I am this, even if there's no proof of me being this. I know I am this. Okay, so we'll have a look with the Lenormand as well. Leo, shadow work messages for our Leos, please. Shadow work messages for Leo. As you can tell, this time around we are just sort of questioning ourselves a lot, in order to find that clarity so we can start moving forward. Shadow work messages for Leo, please. So definitely needing to look at some of that darkness within yourself, Leo. We have the void coming through first. Okay, so those shadows that are waiting for their time, the parts of you that are trying to sort of drag you down into the darkness, the parts of you that you keep hidden in the darkness of yourself, that you don't want to show others, the parts of you that they are part of you, but you try to hide them even from yourself. For a lot of you, this is parts of yourself that you have, put in so much work to not be dragged down into the depths of those things of yourself. But it's kind of like looking at those things and accepting them as part of yourself, and knowing that that's part of what strives you to be better than those things. That's the void within is what keeps us clawing our way forwards and forcing us. We want to be better. We don't want to be stuck in this void. I'm kind of getting this message of like, it's a song. It's that song from 3 Days Grace, and it is actually about drug addiction, but it's I hate everything about you, and there's part of the song where it says, I could be this, I could be that, I could be just like you. Yeah, so it's not I hate everything about you. It's just like you. Is the song I'm thinking of. Okay, it's called Just Like You by 3 Days Grace. And it's like, I could be all these things. I could be just like you. But for you here, Leo, there's a but I choose to not be those things. I choose to, trust my intuition. We have intuition coming out again for you here, Leo. That's the moon. Okay. Such a strong energy for you on the full moon, to have that card come through. And it shows us that your emotions are trying to drag you down. Your emotions and those negative emotions are part of you that does sort of try to stop you from trusting your own intuition. All right. So your intuition is trying to pull against that void and drag you away from that void of yourself. And your emotions are and the things that, trigger you, try to pull you back down. So it's really, really looking at those things within yourself and, just once again, clawing your way out of the abyss and trusting your intuition over the emotional responses, because emotions sometimes can't be trusted, but your intuition can be. All right. We have the candle as well. So there's this fire within you, Leo, that is burning to break free. This passion within you, this desire within you. The flame hasn't gone out. There is this flame deep within you that it's not going to go out, that you keep this candle burning within yourself, and that candle is your intuition, trying to find yourself, to find your inner light, and to continue to draw yourself out of the depths of the darkness. So it's really looking into the hidden versions of yourself, what's in you that's waiting to be seen. And one of the big things that's within you is this inner passion, this inner fire that you have to keep clawing forwards, to keep being better versions of yourself each and every day. So trust your intuition and allow it to guide you. Okay, Leo? So that's what we have for you. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Virgos. Okay, Virgo, shadow work messages for our Virgos. Shadow work messages for Virgo. Getting a bit deep and questioning at the minute there, Virgo. So let's see what we've got for you with your shadow work, Virgo. I'm hearing that give me fuel, give me fire, give me double down desire. Oh, that might have been for Leo. Some of you may be on the cusp there as well, but we do have I let myself soften coming through for you, Virgo. I can ask for help. This card is about the power of mutuality, about allowing yourself to ask and be heard. And it questions, why is it hard for me to ask for help? What kind of support would I actually like to receive? So, it's pushing you to ask for help, to not have to do this life thing all by yourself, Virgo. That, why is it so hard for you to ask for help when you truly need it? Why is it so hard for you to ask for help, even just with the little stuff? Even just for when it comes to advice or, an idea on how can I do this better? Why are you struggling so much to ask for that help when you need it? Okay. I also have, I pause when. Led by dream. This card is about dreaminess, imagination, and inspiration, about those inner visions that lead us forward. There you go. That is really what this full moon encapsulates here, Virgo. What dream leads you? Like, what goals and dreams do you aspire to? Do I allow myself to dream, or do I suppress imagination? What images from my childhood dreams are still alive? So I feel like this card is asking you to really, think back to when you were a child, and what version of yourself did you wish to be as an adult? When you were a child, what did you envision yourself as an adult to be? What parts of you now actually are that vision? Are you happy? Are you You know, a lot of the times when we're children, we just, you know, aside from the material stuff, okay, it's like, I just want to be, you know, happy and have a big family and have this and have that, you know, very simple kind of dreams. What I just want to have fun for my whole life. I want to be able to play with toys my whole life. I feel like that is an achievable dream for a lot of people, right? That, you know, that we can still keep those dreams alive, if nothing else. We can still play with toys at any age. Virgo, shadow work messages for our Virgos. Shadow work messages for Virgo. This is a really good full moon for you, I feel, Virgo. We have the letter coming through first. You know, communication and expression. Communication, once again, I can ask for help. If I need help with anything, I can ask for help. I don't have to do this life thing all alone. All right? You can reach out and ask for help. No matter what level of help you are asking for here, you can ask for help. You can express yourself and be vocal about what you need. We have the ship. You're moving forward, Virgo. You're you know, expression and being led by your dreams is taking you forward here. This is a lot of forward movement happening for you. Okay, so that's that. Where do your dreams lead you? Where is this ship taking you? If this ship could take you anywhere in the world where you could be anything you want to be, you could have anything you want to have, what would that look like? We also have the bear. Protecting those dreams, standing up for yourself and standing strong and tall in yourself and asking for help when you need it. It's part of protecting yourself to ask for help sometimes. That is part of protecting ourselves and nurturing ourselves and growing and standing strong in ourselves, feeling confident that, you know what, sometimes I do need help. I feel like for you, Virgo, the best way to phrase it for yourself is, it's not that I'm asking for help. I'm delegating. I'm delegating. I'm delegating this thing that I need to somebody else, and they can do that for me. They can help me with that. They're really good at that, so they can help me with that. So you're kind of delegating parts of yourself out to, you know, it is asking for help, but I feel for you, Virgo, the word delegation makes it different somehow, especially with this bear here. This bear is the boss, you know, so it's for you. It's like, especially with the letter there as well, and that expression and communication. For a lot of you, you may not have to actually outright ask for help. You just tell somebody, I need help with this. I need help with XYZ. And, you know, bang, there it is. Okay, Virgo. So that's an interesting kind of message for you there. Standing tall and strong and powerful and confident in the things that you need and not being afraid to ask for them. All right, but that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements. As always, subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Libra. Okay, Libra, shadow work messages for our Libra. Libra, what does Libra need to know for shadow work messages this month? Ooh, okay. Wanting another shuffle, Libra. We can do that. Libra, shadow work messages for Libra, please. Catching. We have the loneliness card coming through first. So loneliness can be painful, but it can also be a state of openness, a deep connection with your inner self. Sometimes we choose to be alone and sometimes we need it. All right. So it questions you and asks, are you comfortable being alone with yourself? When does silence soothe me? And when does it actually scare me? So it's a little bit about facing that fear of being alone and, you know, using the elements of needing sometimes to be alone for that self-soothing kind of energy to combat that loneliness when it is scary. All right. We also see the fog coming through. This is a long one. Okay. It symbolizes a state where your inner voice becomes uncertain and unclear, space between knowing and not knowing, between stillness and movement where the answers have not yet appeared. Important not to rush clarity, but allow it to come. Sometimes in the fog, understanding is born. Now, this full moon, it will bring a lot of clarity regardless. So I do feel as though, just sitting with it and thinking about where you are unclear really will help bring that clarity on for you, Libra. It asks, though, where am I? In vagueness or uncertainty? What is it like to just be in this state without looking for answers? What do I feel when nothing is happening? I want to add for you here too. Why are you afraid, Libra, of doing nothing and not having forward movement in your life? When those moments where, we all have the highs and the lows in life, but that middle area, why is that uncomfortable? Why is that uncomfortable? That's the fog area there, the uncertain area where we're not jumping into things and we're not, running away from things either. Libra, shadow work messages for Libra. A lot of questioning energy for you this full moon, Libra. You are one of the signs mostly impacted by this full moon. Libra, shadow work messages for Libra. So for you, this full moon may look like a lot of deep questioning and a lot of like, what on earth? Like, how do I even feel right now? I'm seeing the need for you to be very strong and independent throughout this full moon. We do have the bear coming through first, followed by the cross, and then the fox here as well. So, we do see a lot of soul energy here, but we also see mind energy, that the thought processes and stuff like that. Both the bear and the fox are very strong, independent energies, standing up for oneself, maybe needing to put some boundaries up around yourself and your independence and your, once again, that, why does silence scare me? Why does loneliness scare me? Why does this fog and no movement scare me? Standing up to yourself. Pardon me. But also protecting your destiny, in a lot of ways here as well. The cross does talk about, a lot of responsibilities that you feel are yours. And you're standing up tall and strong and protecting those things with your all. And the fox asks us to maybe be a little bit more, clever about how we're doing that. Use our intelligence. It's that phrase, work smarter, not harder. Okay? So you don't have to be so abrasive about doing everything. That sometimes being sneaky and clever about what you need to do, what your responsibilities that you need to take care of, sometimes that involves, I just said this for Virgo, delegation. Okay? Delegation is your friend, and there is a strong part of your destiny here and a very strong soul connection for you with your sense of independence and doing things by yourself. But you don't need to be by yourself to do, like, to be independent. Okay, so that's once again where that loneliness aspect is coming in, that sometimes it's okay to surround yourself with people that can help you. It's okay to ask for help. That being alone isn't always a responsibility to make sure, you don't always, it's not a responsibility to be alone. That it's something that you can use to soothe yourself and, have that deep connection to yourself, but it's also important to create boundaries around that within yourself, so that you are still connecting to, what your soul needs, and your soul wants to nurture and have things to protect. If you're all by yourself, you've got nothing to protect other than yourself. And, that's just not as fun. Bears and foxes both are very, very protective of their young. And, they don't do it all by themselves. They raise a family. They protect their family. They do it for them. They're not doing it all for their sense of independence. And the independence comes around because of the need to survive, but it's not the main reason for that. Okay. Destiny has other plans for you here, that you don't need to be alone, that there is people that can help you, I feel. And you're really needing to question that loneliness stuff and the independence stuff, and are we, going too far one way or the other? That I'm kind of getting, for some of you, you may want to check out that Virgo portion as well, where we're talking about delegation, and we're talking about, that it's okay to ask for help. All right, so that's what I have for you today. You check out those other placements, especially if you have strong Virgo in your chart, especially if you're a Virgo moon or you're on the cusp. Definitely check out the Virgo portion as well. But we will move on over to our Scorpios. Okay, moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio, shadow work messages for our Scorpios. Shadow work messages for Scorpio. I am actually just picking up here, Scorpio, that you guys may actually be the ones taking this month off. But we'll have a look. We'll have a look here. Scorpio. Because I do find we just naturally fall into a rhythm every single month where there's at least one sign where things aren't shadow worky. They're not as crazy on the shadow work side of things. And I was just picking up that maybe you guys this month, and because I want to say things are looking up, Scorpio. Everything is sort of starting to move back into your favor here as well. So whether you're aware of that or not, things are changing and moving into a more positive cycle for you, Scorpio. We do see the fire within. The Seeker, a card about mindful exploration, about the ability to observe, notice details, catch the invisible, to seek deeper. So there's questions. What am I researching right now in my life? What small things might give me answers? Where do I need to be more attentive in my life? Okay, so it's just asking you really to just pay attention a little bit more to the little stuff that's going on around you, and just look a little bit deeper, read between the lines, and to not be afraid to research things. If you don't know the answer, Google it. I swear I say that a lot, but it's okay to not know the answer to everything. It's okay to need to research something, even when it comes to the things that you wouldn't think. All right, because I am picking up here on a Scorpio where it's like Googling things like, how do I make more friends? How do I be a better friend? Those sorts of things. I'm picking up something along those lines. How do I... Oh, okay. That's something very specific for one particular Scorpio. And that was, how do I actually say sorry when I don't know how to say sorry? How do I stop myself from fighting against myself and getting triggered when someone tells me I need to apologize? Sorry, Scorpio. That was one specific Scorpio, and if they're watching, you know who you are. But we also see I pause when. Led by dream. This card is about dreaminess, imagination, and inspiration. Oh, he's dreaming about me too? No, jokes. About those inner visions that lead us forward. What dream leads me? Do I allow myself to dream, or am I suppressing my imagination? What images from my childhood dreams are still alive? What parts of yourself would your inner child be proud of? You know, like I keep picking up on that same person's energy there, but this may be relevant to more of you as well. That you know, if you've had a bit of a rough childhood, Scorpio, or even teenage years as well. I'm picking up for a couple of the girls there as well, but um, what images from my childhood dreams are still alive? So, you know, when you were a child, things were not easy, yeah, and there were certain things where you would say to yourself as a child, I wish this was different. I wish this was better. And stopping and giving yourself credit for the fact that you are living a life where you're making a conscious effort to not repeat the mistakes of your parents. Okay, so that's a very specific message, I'm aware, but it is relevant to a couple of you, and not just the person I'm picking up on there. It is relevant to more of you than that. So some questions coming through for you this month, Scorpio. What small things might give you the answers? All right. What things do you need to research right now? It may be, you know, acknowledging self for some of you, acknowledging that it's okay for you to have dreams and goals and aspirations here. Allowing yourself to express your imagination rather than hiding from it. Scorpio, shadow work for our Scorpios. Shadow work for Scorpio. Ooh, Scorpio, it's time. We have the hourglass. It's time. It's time to start moving forward. It's time to start treating yourself the way that you deserve instead of the way that you've been treating yourself, Scorpio. There's a lot of self-doubt, fear that's been holding you back here. You've been suppressing those things that you truly wish for. You've been suppressing your intuition a little bit here too. The things that you're trying to be drawn towards that you are avoiding. It's time. It's time to allow those things into your life. It's time to start receiving. It's time to start moving towards your destiny and having faith that you do deserve these things and that life can be amazing for you, and have faith in yourself. Have faith that destiny has a plan for you, Scorpio, and that everything is working out. Even all that horrible stuff that's going on, that has gone on, you know, it's all happening for a reason. And this is asking us to have faith that, you know, as uncomfortable as it is, there's a reason to the madness. Okay, there is a reason. It's time to just keep on moving forward, not allowing that negative stuff to hold you back from taking care of yourself and healing. We have the tree there as well. It's time to heal from that stuff. It's time to mature and branch out into your true destiny here and allow that to take root deep in your soul. There is a lot of soul energy here. Your soul is crying out to be heard by you, and it's asking you to trust your dreams, trust your intuition. I said it as a joke a moment ago that somebody was, you know, I said as a joke, somebody's dreaming about me, are they? It may not, it's obviously doesn't necessarily mean you're dreaming about me, Scorpio, but there's someone that you are dreaming about, something that you are dreaming about in your actual nighttime subconscious, that it's trying to tell you you need to heal this rift. You need to move and grow and heal and move towards that. For some of you, it's not a dream, it's a nightmare. You're having nightmares about something and you need to heal that part of yourself. All right. It is okay to research how to heal that wound, whatever that is. Okay. That childhood thing that happened. For once again, I'm picking that up. The childhood experience that it's time to heal. It is time to heal and grow as a person. Okay, Scorpio. Some of you are already on the path. I can feel. I know a couple of my Scorpio friends there. Things are starting to look up very um, surprising to them, you know, not surprising to me because they deserve it. But each and every one of you do deserve it. So things will be looking up for you, Scorpio. You just need to believe it. Have faith in yourself and trust that it is all going to work out. There is a grand plan and it is going to work out. It's time to start receiving and trusting that. Okay. So that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Sagittarius. Okay, moving on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, shadow work messages for Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. Like, this is a deck with like 52 cards, and I keep getting some of the same ones for everyone. I can't remember. It might have been Leo that had this Sagittarius. So, fire energy, we love it. It is a fire moon in the sign of Aries. So this is the Between Worlds card. Shadows. This card is about our shadows, the parts we hide or don't acknowledge, yet in them lies the key to wholeness. So it asks you, what part of myself do I not want to see? What causes me shame or resistance? So it's kind of asking you to look within those shadows. We're doing shadow work, so it's a good time to start acknowledging some of those parts of yourself, especially the ones that cause you feelings of shame, or the things that make you resist something in your life. For a lot of you, I'm feeling just the resistance is against change in general. And that there's something about your shadow that that makes change kind of scary sometimes, that causes you to resist that change. Maybe specifically in certain areas of your life. I am picking up some love messages there, Sagittarius, in regards to resisting being open to love, and being resisting looking for love, for fear of failure kind of energy coming through there. We do also have, I have the right to be wrong. Okay, so some of the Sagittarius, I know that they wouldn't agree with that at all, but this is why we're looking within our shadows. This says, hug me. This card is about warmth, physical closeness, support, and connection. Sometimes all we need is simply a hug. So there you go. For some of you, that's what you're resisting: physical closeness, intimacy with others, support, and connection. So when was the last time I allowed myself to be held? Who can I offer a hug to right now? All right. So it's kind of asking you for your shadow work here to fight against that resistance for that physical closeness. That, do you know what, even if maybe that's a way for you to phrase that to yourself, that, do you know what, I might need a hug right now, but that person might need a hug more than me. So, I'm going to offer them that support and physical closeness. And do you know what, it may actually do me the world of good as well. All right, but we'll have a look with the Lenormand. Just give me one sec. Okay, sorry about the weird pause, Sagittarius. My son just woke up, so I had to go sort that out. All right, but looking at your Lenormand shadow work messages. Okay, Sagittarius. Shadow work messages for Sagittarius, please. So definitely the need to involve yourself with others at the moment. So like I said, it's kind of like you know, we do have the garden coming through first, which is all about meetings and meeting others halfway. So, you know, you're meeting others halfway and supporting them. And it may actually meet you halfway and give you something that you actually don't even realize that you kind of need at the moment there. So, but it's also, you know, meeting yourself halfway as well, and you know, having a bit of a conversation, a D&M, a bit of a meeting with yourself, um you know, about what is causing you resistance in your life, and what parts of yourself, you know, you don't want to see. So meeting the darkness within yourself, by also using the light within yourself. So, you know, every time that you do see something about yourself that is coming from that darker side of self, the shadow side of self, meeting that with, but then, oh, I do this and this, and you know, I care about this, I'm kind, or whatever it is for you. Meeting that with some of the light aspects of self as well. We do have the birds coming through there. So, you know, it does talk about a lot of conversations taking place. So for some of you, this is, you know, just all within your own self, having those deeper conversations with yourself, and like I said, meeting yourself halfway. But that garden is also the sort of get out and be social card as well. So I do feel for a lot of you, this is getting out and about and having those conversations with others, and you know, being able to see the light and dark in others, enabling you to see the light and dark within yourself as well. Okay, and also, you know, that physical closeness. You don't have to be touching people to have that physical closeness. For you, it's saying, you know, getting out there and spending time amongst people and out in the public, you know, view kind of thing. Even if it's just walking through the park and things like that, it's really going to work really well for you at the moment, because, you know, we do see the chains coming through here as well. So it's kind of combating those chains that are keeping you wrapped up tight and keeping yourself, you know, away from the world. There is this energy coming through for your shadow work where you are, you know, so wrapped up in yourself that you've become trapped. You know, keeping yourself away from others physically as well as, you know, emotionally and whatnot as well. So it's really sort of breaking free from those chains that you've placed around yourself, and, you know, getting back out there into the world a little bit more at the moment, and finding that physical closeness. You know, even if it's just walking down the street in a crowd, having people around you is actually really good for you right now, to help you, you know, resolve these shadows that you're finding within yourself. All right. And because I feel like I'm just getting that message that, you know, walking down, seeing you kind of walking down the street in amongst all these people that you don't even know, and having that physical closeness, but also it's kind of an awareness of, they don't see the light or the dark about me. They just see another person that, you know, they may look at, you know, what are they looking at me and seeing? They're not seeing the same things that I see. So that perspective may actually be really useful to you at the minute as well, Sagittarius. But that's what we have for you. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. And we will move on over to Capricorn. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to stay up to date with all the readings. All right, moving on to our Capricorns. Capricorn. Shadow work messages for Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know in regard to shadow work messages? Oh, Capricorn. I swear one of these has, this energy has come up for you a lot lately. We have the fire within. All right. So we had a very similar energy coming up for the other fire signs as well. This as well. I don't know why I'm saying as well, but we've got the fire within. It was coming out for the fire signs. You know, I feel like there was one particular sign that did have this card, but I can't remember which sign it was. I'm not going to lie. The Seeker, a card about mindful exploration, about the ability to observe, notice the details, catch the invisible, to seek deeper. Asking yourself, what am I researching right now in my life? What small things might give me answers? Where do I need to be more attentive in my life? There you go, it was Scorpio. Scorpio had this, which for some reason I've always associated Scorpio as a very fiery energy as well. They're the honorary fire sign of the water signs, and you guys today are the honorary fire signs of the earth signs. So very interesting. And we also have I put on a mask when. This is a card about rival, a card about comparison, about competition and rivalry. Sometimes it motivates us, but sometimes it destroys. In what do I compare myself to others, and why exactly in that? Do I enjoy competing? Does competition inspire me or exhaust me? So for those of you, I feel like this is kind of talking about, seeking competition in a motivating way, rather than allowing it to exhaust you. The ways that competition and rivalry exhausts, we're removing those, whereas we're finding ways to, have that competitive edge, but to motivate ourselves and to really, really, really push that fire within. That comparison is the thief of joy, but it can also push us to be more like what we're seeing. Okay, so there's those things that we're observing in others, that motivating ourselves to be more like that. If that's something we like about that person, use it to motivate you to be more like that. If we're seeing something about somebody else or observing something about somebody else that we don't like, that motivates us to not have that as a feature of ourselves. And it's something that we all do in small ways, but it's kind of seeking deeper meaning behind those things, that we are observing in others. And why do we admire that about that person? Why does that other thing upset us about that person? Is it some sort of reflection upon ourselves? Is there a part of ourselves that wants to be like that or not be like that? And that's why it triggers us in either a good way or a bad way. So questioning yourself about comparison and the observations and the things that you're admiring or unadmiring in others, definitely coming through strongly there, Capricorn. Capricorn, shadow work messages for our Capricorns. Shadow work messages for Capricorn. Interesting. Starting off with the beetle. So, that's about teamwork and allowing, maybe observing the way that others interact and observing the way that yourself interacts and making some minute changes here, with the way that we're involving ourselves with others and, allowing others to support us rather than just taking leadership of others. We're allowing others to, be a part of the team. When we're part of a team, we aren't always the leader. So sometimes it's actually advised to allow others to take that leadership role, even if you know that you can do it better, Capricorn. Which, I am a Capricorn, so I'm not just saying this. I myself am a very leader type person, rather than sitting back and allowing others to take control of things. But that may be one of the things that, the small things that you're noticing here. This full moon, it actually seems quite positive for you, Capricorn, in the fact that we're just looking at little things here. We're not looking at, big, dramatic, deep, dark parts of our shadow. We're just looking at the little finessing things here. So this is actually like a very positive shadow work period for you. You guys are one of the signs most affected by this full moon, but I am a Capricorn. I do have an Aries moon, so that may be the reason. But I do find the Aries full moons very sort of invigorating and motivating. So it's a good recharge, Capricorn, and I feel like you're another sign that this particular full moon, it is really going to motivate you to start moving forward and finessing those small little things that you're observing, those small changes that you can be making, without having to do this. We're not slogging through the abyss right now, Capricorn. We're just making those small little changes for yourself. You've done a lot of work already. I've picked up a lot of that off the Capricorn collective in general. We also have the feminine here, so it's about nurturing yourself a little bit more, but also nurturing others. The feminine energy is very nurturing, and this is what that teamwork is trying to tell you, that not using competition to exhaust you. You're using it to motivate you, but you're also using it to help others around you as well, that you're allowing others to, it's kind of that energy of like when you see those running races, right? Or a bicycle race. And I think that in the recent pop culture, there was a bicycle race where, the person that was in the lead, they noticed that the second place person and everyone behind them sort of smashed bikes and they all fell over or whatever. And the person that was in the lead went back and helped the others up, because, if everyone behind you falls, it's no longer a race. Without the competition, it's not a race, and it's just kind of winning by default. And if you want to win, winning is about winning against others and against the adversities and all those sorts of things. So along that path, there's a need to actually help others catch up. All right, so it's a fair fight, Capricorn. So this is kind of what's coming through here for you. It's like nurturing others is nurturing yourself, and rebelling against the parts of yourself that do just want to butt heads and take control and be that. It's kind of this energy here with the goat. Okay, the goat is one of the cards that represents Capricorn, but it represents those parts of Capricorn that are the what people think of us. The stereotypical Capricorns. Oh, Capricorn only cares about money. Capricorn, they'll push everyone down the stairs just so that they can win that race. Capricorn, they just want to be the boss of everything. All those negative stereotypes that people put against Capricorn, this is you rebelling against that by showing, no, I want you guys to do just as well as me. There's no point me doing well and being the only one doing well. I want to be able to bring you with me. There's no point. I don't want to be up on that podium by myself. I don't want, to be standing there and have everyone, booing my success because everybody else failed. No, I still might want to be first, but I want a second and third place on that podium beside me. I want others to do well as well. And that's what this is all about. It's just finessing that teamwork stuff and that competition energy, just finessing that a little bit. Mindful exploration, researching, ways that you can just notice the details and observe, how can I help support others? How can I, bring them under my wing and help them catch up to where I'm at? There's no point being the only one all the way up here. I need others, catching up with me. It's a lonely world if I'm the only one at the top, and I don't want to be alone. That's kind of the main message I'm getting there, Capricorn. It's not about it's not a competition if you're the only one in it. And if you're anything like me, you do have that competitive edge, and if there's no one to compete against, it's no longer a competition. Where's the excitement in that? Where's the motivation in that? Pointless, right? So that's what I've got for you, Capricorn. Like I said, it's nothing huge for you this month, which is kind of a relief, not going to lie. But that's what we have there. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, what's going on for Aquarius in regard to shadow work messages? Shadow work messages for Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know in regards to shadow work? Follow the fear. I won't stop because. A card about motivation. This full moon is all about motivation and moving forward, that instigation. About remembering what you started for and what keeps you moving forward, despite fatigue, doubts, or difficulties. So it questions and asks, what gives me strength to not stop? What inspires me? Why do I keep going despite everything? What pushes you to go when everything tries to tell you to stop? What is pushing you to go? We also have, I have the right to want. This is a long one, guys, but bear with me. This card is about permission to want, not just material or bodily things, but emotional, soulful, real. It touches the moments when I quietly say to myself, I don't deserve this, and asks you to reclaim the right to dream and hope and desire. So it questions, what desires do I dim down and why? What do I allow myself to want without justification? Am I over controlling my desires? Am I limiting my desires? Am I stopping myself from wanting? Okay. And for a lot of you, it's the fear that is stopping you from wanting, the fear of failure. So, push on that. Keep moving forward. Keep hoping. Keep dreaming. Clarifying this message for Aquarius. Shadow work messages for Aquarius, please. Shadow work messages for Aquarius. Firstly, we have the masculine coming through here, Aquarius. That's giving me more questions. Yeah, it's that masculine energy. We see that with masculine energy, we either have divine masculine or the unevolved masculine. The unevolved masculine wants to be in control of everything. That is where war and chaos reign free. The divine masculine controls everything through strength and power, because control is given to the divine masculine, and they can protect. So you needing to ask yourself, am I taking control of things because of this fear motivating me, that everything has to be a certain way, that that I have to be in control? Is it chaos? Is it fighting with yourself that is making you, domineered situations, or yourself controlling every little thing that you do and say because of fear? Or are we doing that out of protection? Protecting the people around us that we care about, protecting ourselves. All right. We do see the octopus coming through here as well. So that and especially here too with the city coming through as well. They both are very, very active, very, very movement. We do see a lot of movement coming for you, asking you to move forward and keep moving forward and keep moving forward, and asking yourself, what motivates you, what pushes you to move forward, what pushes you to multitask, what pushes you to be busy all the time here, Aquarius, and allowing yourself permission to slow down sometimes when you need to, but also to do that, to be that way, because that is part of who you are. That you've just got a lot going on in your head here, and that you're trying out different things to see what works for you, and staying really busy trying to push forward. But there is a side note here about the more that you're, dipping your hands in, or your tentacles, as it may be, into different little pots here, you're keeping yourself very busy but stuck in this little rat race. Yeah. You still need to push forward. You still need to keep moving forward in amongst all of that. Okay. But the city asks us to, you know, you know, get busy, get like kind of get I'm hearing that Will Smith song, get jiggy with it. But it's about moving forward and having the intelligence to continue moving forward. We're seeing a lot of intelligence here. The octopus and the masculine both have a lot of intelligence and rational, logical mindset. The city also does talk about business and business momentum as well. So your shadow work is really those quiet moments of facing your fears and having the right to continue reaching higher and higher and reaching into different pots if you need to. Pardon me. You can kind of see the skyscraper here. You're not stopping on the street level. You're leveling up and leveling up and leveling up and leveling up here. You have the right to want to do that, allowing it to yourself, that despite everything, you can keep on going. You can keep on going. The only one limiting you is yourself. Okay, Aquarius. So I know that was a little bit all over the place, but that octopus and city energy, it is very frenetic kind of energy, a lot going on for you. So there may be some other stuff going on for you with this shadow work period as well, that things that you're just sort of working through. But I feel like you're working through things just so quickly that, you might sort of be assessing one shadow side of yourself and then, dealing and growing with that very, very quickly and then moving on to the next thing, those sorts of things. You might be leveling up very, very quickly through your shadow work at the moment. So just keep on keeping on and stay motivated to continue doing so, because, you keep fighting the fears. Don't allow fear of the unknown to stop you, Aquarius. All right, so that's what we have for you. You guys definitely might want to check out your moon sign as well. Like I said, a very frenetic message for you there. So your moon sign might help give a little bit of extra clarity on that for you. Okay, Aquarius, but subscribe to the channel and we will move on over to our Pisces. Okay, Pisces, shadow work messages for our Pisces. What does Pisces need to know in regard to shadow work? Shadow work messages for our Pisces. Trying to give a really good shuffle here, Pisces. Even though this deck is a 52 card deck, I'm seeing a lot of repeat cards coming through today. So trying to really, really shuffle those. Pisces, shadow work. What did I just say? Oh my gosh. Both of the cards I've drawn for you, we have already seen with other signs today. Okay, so it kind of does tell me straight away, Pisces, that the cycle that you've been sort of in has been a bit of a darker one for you here. We do start off with the void. Okay, so you have been, stuck in the darkness of self for a little while here, Pisces. This is the space where nothing happens. Silence, uncertainty, pause. It may feel like you're stuck, but maybe you're just in the place where something new is being born. A card without form, without answer, without question. All right, so this card doesn't actually put questions on us, but it does sort of show us that, you have been doing the work. You have been in the void, dealing with that void energy. It is also a reminder that, especially with this full moon energy, that the only one who can get out of the abyss is you yourself. Don't allow yourself to get stuck in the abyss. Use this full moon to really motivate you to claw your way out of the abyss, Pisces, that you're not stuck. The only times that we're stuck, it's because we allow ourselves to remain so. All right, so it does have that reminder with it. But we do also see this loneliness energy, Pisces. Loneliness can be painful, but it also can be a state of openness, a deep connection with your inner world. Sometimes we choose to be alone. Sometimes we need it. So this one questions, are you comfortable being alone with yourself? When does silence soothe me? And when does it scare me? All right. So really thinking about aspects of being alone, and is that okay? Is it okay to just be with myself and have that void creeping up and to be dealing with that? Or am I someone that needs to be out with others to avoid that? So it's really asking you, when does silence soothe and when does it scare me? And allowing the moments when it scares you, allowing the soothing silence to be the one that you move yourself into. That you don't have to be in this void, in silence, in loneliness, that you can actually embrace being in the void and use it to, inspire yourself and work through those things that you can only do through that deep connection with yourself and having that oneness. All right. So it's kind of a perspective I feel for a lot of you here, that especially about this void within, the darkness within, choosing to be comfortable in your own darkness and choosing to allow that to, push you, motivate you to climb your way out of that. Pisces, shadow work messages for our Pisces. Shadow work messages for Pisces, please. I am actually getting a lot of really positive energy for you here, Pisces. That it is time to claw yourself out of that void, and because for some of you this void is telling yourself that I want to be alone all the time. I don't want to be around others, that I'm safer alone. Scares me to be with others, that kind of energy. But I am seeing a lot of positive messages coming through for you, which is, we are doing a shadow work reading. So generally we do see a lot of darker messages coming through, but it's kind of, once again, I did get a very, I have recently gotten a lot of messages, especially I think it was in the message of hope reading, Pisces, where it's wanting to reassure you that there is hope. And I'm getting a similar kind of energy here. The hidden energy, we've got the heart, the sun, and the clover. So, love and happiness. Take the risk. So, that's, you're holding yourself back from love and happiness. It's time to start taking a risk. Even though you don't know what that next chapter brings, it's time to start taking a chance on the fact that it could have hope for you yet. All right, because we do see the flowers coming through first, which is all about giving and receiving. We have the star, which is your wishes, your hope, your optimism, your dreams coming true here, Pisces. We also have the book, that next chapter that is opening up for you right now. So it's asking you to give to the idea of hope. Give to this idea that your wishes could come true in this next chapter of your life. It's asking you to start giving your time, your love, your energy to the things that you dream of, your wishes, your goals. For some of you, you need to actually create goals because, with that void energy here, some of you are kind of like avoiding setting any goals, any dreams for yourself. You're kind of telling yourself it's easier to not have anything to hope for. It's easier to not wish for anything. So then I won't be disappointed. But this is telling you start giving to those wishes and allowing yourself to receive this positive energy that's trying to come in for you, Pisces. Part of your next chapter, yes, it's the unknown. Yes, it's scary, but there's a lot of wishes and hope in there for you. All right. So for some of you, maybe needing to, write down what it is that you aspire towards, what your wishes and dreams and goals for the future are, where you want that next chapter of your life to go. I do feel that for some of you, writing that down may actually really help push you. This full moon is a period of movement. So, it's asking you to really stop and think about your goals and your dreams and start just giving to the idea of them, giving to the idea of having them. Okay, starting to claw yourself up out of that void. The first steps that you're taking here are to have hope, to wish for things, something, to tell yourself that love and happiness are things worth taking a risk and a chance on, worth investing in. Okay, Pisces, so pretty specific message for you there, but that's what we have for you. Obviously, this full moon is, I kind of want to say it's not as bad as you think with the shadow work side of things today for you, Pisces. So that's what we have for you. Make sure you do check out your other placements, especially your moon sign being the full moon. But that's what we have there, and we will see you all again soon.